Hi guys, Tablet-News.com, and I'm here with the game called Eternal Legacy HD. I'm playing it on the iPad Mini Retina. The game comes from Gameloft and it's a blatant ripoff of Final Fantasy. This game dates from back in 2010. You control only one party member in the fight and select what the others can do. You'll see that it rips off elements from both Final Fantasy X and Final Fantasy 13. Okay, so the controls, well, you have a pretty large world map, I give them that much. I can move the character around with the thumbstick on the left side. I can interact with objects or people with this little hand here. I'm probably going to be given a quest. This is a typical JRPG, characters with big hair, big swords, cartoonish. I have to collect mushrooms, talk to this guy, he'll sell me stuff. If I have enough money, don't have enough, so I have to go further and collect. The story is not very good in this title. It's pretty bland if you ask me. Let's try to turn up the volume and maybe hear something in this game if possible. This is the in-game menu and I'm looking for the mushrooms that the girl indicated earlier. It's probably a good idea to follow the indicator. I must say that I'm a pretty huge Final Fantasy fan, so this game is sort of a blatant ripoff. It feels like a bit of a sacrilege. Here's a mushroom, collected one, two more to collect. This is the world map. The battles are found later on. This is a guy who probably wants to race. Okay. So looking for mushrooms yet again, and I see an enemy has appeared, pretty tough enemy. You can also find random treasure chests on the map, and the fight has started. So I really have to try and figure out why we can't actually get some sound here. Okay, so now it works. Okay, this is the fight sequence. I select attack to attack this enemy, and then this one and this one. The attack happens in sequence of 3, as you can see here, and you only control one character. The other one can be set to various roles. It's pretty much like in Final Fantasy 13. I can set her to Predator or Berserk. And aside from the attack option, I have some special skills that will cost me mana points. Obviously, I can also use items. So if you ever played Final Fantasy and you know turn-based JRPGs, you know what to expect. This is the command queue, and all I have to do right now is wait for the commands to go in and the attacks to happen. She used her ability, her spell so to say. This is actually a pretty powerful unit, that archer right there. And now I'm saving the special magic for that guy. So let's maybe try to heal her. A lot of damage. That's the problem with turn-based games. You actually have to wait a lot till the fight ends, keep hitting them. And apparently the girl has died. So I probably will have to revive her. Revival potion on the way. You can also run from the battle, as you can see here. There is a lot of exploring to do in this game, and there is a ton of side quests and chests to be found. I'm probably going to lose this battle, so I would better revive her and heal myself in the process. Maybe do a double slash. This is sort of a limit break. If you remember Final Fantasy VII, the limit break happened when you reach a critical point in your HP. Let's try another skill, maybe the firebolt. This is totally Final Fantasy ripoff. Gameloft has a tendency to rip off games. They ripped Call of Duty and made Modern Combat. They're ripping Final Fantasy and making this game. And they ripped several other titles. Okay, so the battle is done. As you saw, one of the party members did all the working and the other one was only assigned a role. You can also attach fragments to your weapons or your equipment. These fragments will add special abilities and elementals to your weapons. This is my character's equipment. I can add some extra armor to him, helm or other accessories. This is my inventory. This is the party member selection, the character abilities and such, and then the map that I can explore and the quests that I go into. Finally, there's the system options right here. Let's go back, move around. Here's the second mushroom. Picking it up. It wouldn't be a good idea to run into a battle now, because I would probably spend ages in it, as you just saw earlier, but these guys simply will not give me a break. Since that I have found a chest with an item inside. Just like in Final Fantasy, you can stay away from combat on the map, but guess not. Okay, so this is Eternal Legacy HD, typical JRPG. I'm being attacked from behind this time, so I better be careful. Listy can be a berserker, predator, defender or healer. Let's make her a healer this time, so she can increase my hit points. The graphics are, I would say, reasonable in this title. I wouldn't say they're very impressive. Reasonable is the word you're looking for. I've seen better graphics, I've seen worse graphics. And if you ask me to choose, I would choose the RPG Chaos Rings instead of this one. It actually has a bit more depth and more interesting combat system and more complicated puzzles, I would say, and the story is also better. From what I've heard, I haven't completed the game, it should offer you about half a dozen hours of pure RPG action. But because I'm a huge Final Fantasy fan, I'm willing to give it a go, and I'm also willing to criticize it because it's so far from its origins. Meanwhile, Gameloft didn't say anything about Final Fantasy and anything about a resemblance with that title. So I'm going to give this game an 8 out of 10, should remember that, and as I said, blatant ripoff from Final Fantasy. From what I know, this title should cost about $5, which is quite a bit, but if you love JRPGs, you should give it a go, because it's a very long title, so you have a lot to do on your iPad. We give it an 8 out of 10 here at Tablet-News.com. Bye bye.